today. What caused my interest are the two TED Talks entitled What We Lose When We Let Language and Cultures Die by Bruno Baidarchi and Language, the Bridge Between Cultures by Grant Cho. To summarize the first video, What We Lose When We Let Language and Cultures Die, it talks about identity crisis. It is the problem regarding about a certain culture that is once forgotten. That's why culture preservation is important. He talked about a person named Kyang Zhang, which later on found out that his records of adoption are nowhere to be found. That's why he is unable to learn his past and reconnect with traditions who became a major part of his life. He talked about the consequences once our language will die. One will experience an identity crisis as he believes that to understand where we're from is to understand who we are. He named a lot of solutions to this problem, but the most important is to expose ourselves to diversity of culture in order for us to be educated. He believes that a globalized world means a world of culture diversity and free expressions of traditions and beliefs. And somehow I found connections with what Grancho's speech talks about, which is the language, the bridge between cultures. Grancho is a Korean-American individual who knows how to speak English, Chinese, and Korean. He believes that language is not a barrier, but instead, it is a bridge. He said that through language, we can understand each other, communicate, and learn about other cultures. He talked about two stories that makes him help someone and turn himself from observer to participant and immerse himself in the society. He said that fear is the barrier in which hinders the people to learn language. Fear of mispronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary usage. He gave us a reminder about the endangered language, which will make us lose a certain culture as when a language dies, another cultural perspective will be buried as well. He said that by learning language, we cannot just interact to people but can also preserve culture. At last, he leaves a message which says about language as empowering, language as enlightening, language as uniting, so we need to learn it. What I like about the talks is that they give a specific importance relating to culture, and both of them are young people who really concern themselves regarding the issues of the danger of culture extinction. I totally understand the need to study language, and they made me think about a certain situation in my life that I became concerned of my culture, and I can really relate to them. Once, I made a research during my senior high school years, which is last year. It is all about culture preservation, and through their speeches, I can now fully understand the need to preserve our culture, as culture is what makes us who we are today. I got really interested to their experiences. As they began to tell their experiences, I've begun to visualize a certain situation in which I can fully understand what is it all about. And it is very enlightening that they shared connections from their given situations. Especially in the speech of Grant Cho, he told about a certain situation of a Chinese woman who cannot talk in either English or Korean, which is inside the South Korean plane, as well as her struggle that he cannot talk the Korean language. There, I can fully conclude that language really connects us with people. It is really funny that those talks were so real that I can even imagine myself in that situation. Because in my 18 years of existence, I spent half of my life listening to Korean songs. Because of that, I tried to learn their language. I tried to learn basic greetings and so on. But what hinders me is my fear. I can really relate to what Crancho said about the fear of mispronunciation, fear of grammar and tone usage. What I learned from the talk is that language is very important. It shapes our culture and it is the reason why we communicate. I also learned that we need to understand each culture. Do not judge them according to their skin color, to their gender identity, to their traditions and customs, and so on. I really love the speech of Grancho. I really love his topic, language, the bridge of culture. I like it knowing that he encourages people and enlighten people, especially the millennials like me, to believe in his saying that language is empowering, language is enlightening, language is uniting. That's why we need to learn it. It opened my mind that to learn another language is not being a traitor to your country, but to make us a responsible individual in the world. We can preserve and we can communicate to different races as well. And that is the reason of the communication and the conversation of the whole world, and for the peace and order of the country. We need to understand each other. That's all. Thank you.